Okay, I made sure to double check this time beforehand, and OBS did not forget my mic. I think the music is mostly good. I'll check the... I'll turn it up a little bit. Alright, I'm hoping my mic levels are good, because when I got it from behind my monitor, it was, the gain had been dialed down really low. It was like, it's been bumping against my monitor again. Does that all the time. It just turns it down or turns it up, and it's kind of a hassle to deal with, but whatever. All right. I got very close to not having the Pearl video ready on time. And by ready, I mean I had to manually make it go public. I couldn't schedule it because I had fallen behind because there's just so much involved in this one. I had a very busy week last week anyway, so wasn't really able to work on stuff as I would have liked to. People might notice that a lot of the videos this time around, or not a lot, but some of them are going to be a bit longer than usual. There is a reason for that, and that is because I went ahead with the idea from last time, which was to expand upon some of the clips. I think the one that's going to exemplify this the most is, I think, the Toma one, because I ended up expanding on a few of these. Yeah, extended. 4 out of the 10 clips were extended, so it's 2 minutes long, a minute long. It's obviously I'm gonna trim them down, because when I clip stuff I make sure to grab enough before and after so that I don't cut anything off, so I can get some editing work around, especially if I want to do some specific transitions on more heavily edited stuff. It allows me to have a bit more extra footage to work with to incorporate transitions and whatnot. So it's obviously going to be trimmed down a bit, but as this is my first time doing this one, I did not figure out the whole putting the word extended into the name until I don't even know when. I think Toma might be the first one. It's hard to remember because not all of them have extended clips. I think most of them don't. Only a handful. And even then, most of those clips, only a couple of the clips inside of them have been extended. And a lot of those extensions are just taking a little bit. This one does have some extended. I just didn't name them extended at the time. Anyway, You can clearly tell that this one and this one are really long. This is actually two moments from the same thing, but I don't want them to be too long. So this one is under 2 minutes, and this one's obviously going to be, yeah, about 1 minute and 40. So I try not to go too long. 2 minutes is generally about as far as I go with a lot of it. It's enough to cover a clipped moment, at least to get the broad moment, and or maybe combine other moments. I don't know if I have an example. No, I do have an example of that. It's in the Tomo one. Specifically, one, I don't know which one. One of these. I think it's this one. I think it's number 7. There are actually 2 in here that were covered under multiple clips, but only one had 2 entries in the top 10. So I took both of those because thankfully the person who clipped the stuff actually labeled them part 1 and part 2. The 2 people who clipped these moments labeled them parts 1 and part 2. So I was able to take both parts. Even if the second part wasn't in the top 10, I still grabbed that. I grabbed both parts and combined them into a single clip. And some others were just, like in this one, this moment and this moment were a bit too long to be contained in a single Twitch clip, limited to the 60-second range. So I went in and grabbed a little bit more footage to really kind of cover the whole moment. Now, obviously, these 2 parts are the same moment, more or less, just overly. It's a long conversation that they had on the topic. Not wanting to go too long, these 2 from the same thing, so I just extended those 2 and left it at that. I did not, as you can see in here, I know this one did cover the same thing, but it's just a one-liner. Anyway, so it's not like I'm going to grab an entire 5-minute conversation kind of thing, but I tried to get the broad moment that was being clipped. And not all of them are extensions. Some of them need to be trimmed a little bit. One of the ones for, I believe it's the Jets video, needed to be trimmed just because it had a long bit of silence during part of it. It was like not a bad thing, but people's attention spans probably aren't going to appreciate long bouts of silence. I don't think I extended any of the VV clips. I think people managed to get pretty much the moments that they were going for in a lot of these clips. And that goes for most of them. It's not that often where a clip really benefits from being extended, so the Koya one's a bit interesting because I would have to watch the whole VOD to understand it. But there are 3 clips in here that kind of repeat similar scenes. This one, and this one. It's the same cutscene from the game, but at 3 different moments during the stream. I don't know if it was all in. I'd have to go into the VOD itself and see if it was like all 3 moments were in a row, or if or if Kohi just revisited that moment afterwards. I don't know, but they were separate enough that I decided that I did not need to combine them all into one clip. It was fine to leave them as 3 separate. So it's kind of just, I play it by ear. It is fun, though it does mean that it takes me a lot longer to get all of the clips. This batch took me, about... Trying to think, because I took a couple breaks so that I wasn't sitting in my chair for too long. I got food, jumped in the shower at one point, stuff like that. So I think ultimately it took about maybe 5 hours total to get everything, because I had to watch through all of the clips and then determine which ones, if any, need to be extended or any other little notes. And I also did a new thing with the clip names, where instead of the file names, instead of as you can tell, instead of the names of the clips, I just put the numbers. And the reason for that is because the file names in the file explorer on the computer is not able to hold certain symbols or whatnot, like the semicolon, quotation marks, question mark, stuff like that. So I just copied it all into text file instead, and I'm using that and just copy and paste it on here, because it's just easier and faster. But this time around we will be using hold on, I'm gonna just mess with this a little bit. Separate things a little bit more so it's easier to grab what I need. There we go. We are gonna be using this one this time. I did extend it, so you have the 2-second animation to fade in, 2-second hold, and a 2-second out. Intro, hold, outro. So it's 6 seconds total. 1 second longer than the old one, but I think it works. I think one of my next goals is going to be to update the sound effects I use for sensors, for sensor bleeps. I want to expand my library a bit more. Find some ones that maybe they're a bit topical, maybe they're a bit more fitting to specific VTubers, or maybe they're just, I find them very fun or fitting. Maybe they fit a specific length that, for example, finding one that fits between the length of the dolphin one and just the full 10-second sensor bleep. finding some stuff to kind of fit in between. I think that's going to be my next goal to work towards for updating these. Always try to make sure I don't fall into stagnation. How long does this pause last? Let's see, 446. Like 10 milliseconds. So not a big deal. It just looks really long because I'm zoomed in. It's fine. I guess I should say 10 frames, because that's what we're working with, is frames. I did that again. I do that every now and then. I don't know why. I wish every project you'd worked on in Premiere would be a bit more streamlined. But for example, I started the surprise compilation that I'm working on. Came with some errors. I had to make a new version of it. I just copied and pasted all of the stuff so I didn't lose any progress, but I needed to start a new project because the project settings for the first one were really weird. It was doing weird things, so I just needed to end that. I also noticed, so on here, you can kind of understand what's being said just by, I'm holding the arrow keys down. In that project, you don't hear this clear sound. It's so warped that you can't understand what's going on, which makes finding very specific, where specific moments start and end, and trying to fix the sensors for swearing. Turns out it's making that really hard. I don't know how or why it happened, but I can't do anything about it because in order to do something about it, I would have to start the entire project over from scratch. And I don't want to do that. I have put enough work into it that to start over now would suck, to say the least. Speaking of, I think that project is moving along quite nicely. There are 20 sections that I'm working with. I mean, obviously there's more to it. There's all the stuff that happened in the intro, but there are 20 specific sections that are the segments that I found that I just, oh, okay, I did it again. That I decided they just need to be placed in the video, so I grabbed the full moments, and there's 20 of those. I'm on to, I haven't fully edited all of them, but I'm getting to like finding the key points, putting a little bit of editing in there, editing audio and whatnot. And I'm up to section 16. So I'm almost done with that, and then once I've put all that together, it'll have all the timing down, and then it'll be just to adding visuals, sound effects, figuring out the music, putting it all together. I don't want it to be too hyper edited, but I don't want it to be too slow either because it's a compilation. So I don't want it to be too slow of a burn, but I also don't want it to be one of those super fast, weird, you know, Gen Z editing style that's very popular these days. So I'm trying to find a kind of happy middle ground. I think the video will end up being around 20 minutes long, give or take. Depends on how much I end up trimming down. I did it again. Man, I just... Oh, dear. Wait, this is clip 3. Where's clip 1? I could have sworn I hit home. Whatever. I feel like we've got a few in April, but I feel like for May, we are going to have a ton of Tomodachi Life clips. Because that seems like it's a very popular game for people to be streaming right now. I can definitely see why. It seems like it's a very wild and random game. Based on the stuff I've seen of it so far. I'm genuinely surprised, like, to the point of shocked at some of the stuff that Nintendo allowed to be put into the game. Like, they have this whole thing of like inputting custom catchphrases or topics of interest that people might, that the Miis might be talking about it in different interactions and stuff like that. I'm not sure how it all works because I haven't played the game and I haven't really watched people play the game. Shocker, I don't have a Switch 2 because I don't have the money for a Switch 2. Freaking Nintendo had to be a bit of a butt. Like most game companies right now. Anyway. But yeah, I'm genuinely shocked at some of the things that people are... that Nintendo's allowing them to put in certain things, because Nintendo's been pretty notorious for a while that I can think of for like, hey, you can't type that. Can't put that in there. Kids might see this. Modern Nintendo's like, screw the kids, they're all stupid anyway. I think Japan just kind of, and Nintendo just kind of saw the sheer amount of brain rot and degeneracy among Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and they're like, you know what? Screw it. I also think Nintendo's trying to be a little more like Disney, and I don't appreciate that. Modern Disney caters way too much to those weird Disney adults rather than to kids, and Nintendo's starting to do the same thing. I might be yawning a lot today because it is very dark and raining a lot. So, you know, days like that tend to make you feel a lot more lethargic and sleepy. Like right now, the amount of light coming in from outside is enough to match that of like early morning. Not super early morning, not like dawn, but you know. The light you're getting when the sun is fully risen. It's kind of like risen enough where it's fully visible and it's lighting up things. Enough to where someone like me who is a bit, you know, sleep deprived would view it as, oh, this is a great chance to sleep in kind of time. And I'd probably fall asleep. Which I may or may not do after stream. Because I want to try to avoid the situations I've been running into lately where on Friday and sometimes Saturdays I'll just be dealing with headaches and other backlashes from sleep deprivation. It's not like I'm pulling all-nighters. I cannot pull an all-nighter. I fall apart so fast. But on average I get about 6 hours of sleep, which isn't bad. I mean, heck, my dad has managed to make it for well over a decade on about 4 on average per night. But by the way, it's still not phenomenal. I am going on all sorts of tangents today, huh? This was one of those days I'm feeling very talkative and I have topics to go on for long periods of time. A little abnormal for me. I don't know, maybe I'm just extra talkative when I'm sleepy. I doubt it. I don't know if something in particular has been happening in the Warhammer franchise lately, for another random tangent, but my YouTube feed lately has been flooded with Warhammer 40k videos. I don't know why. I'm not a huge Warhammer fan. I'm not against it, but I just never got into it, so I don't particularly care. I've played a couple of the games. I tried a bit of Dark Tide and played Vermintide 2. That's about it. For some reason, I've just been getting a lot of Warhammer videos in my recommendations, and I just don't understand it. Warhammer, police body cam videos, and videos from news channels, specifically Australian news channels. I don't know why specifically Australian, and if I hit the do not recommend channel enough times on the Australian ones, it'll switch to other countries in like Asia. And then we'll eventually go into random local channels across the United States, then go back to Australia, and it'll just rinse and repeat the process. YouTube's weird, man. I really miss old YouTube, because holy crap, that AI they've been putting in to manage the thing is not working well. I say as I'm also streaming on YouTube. So, if anything happens to the YouTube stream after this point, just saying. I don't know. YouTube recommendations have been really weird for a while now. It'll go from like, here's some stuff from other countries that you can't understand, but don't worry, we've auto-dubbed it now, so now it's 10 times worse than it used to be. And then I'd also get a bunch of like, hey, here's a video from like 5 years ago, or even just 2 years ago. You might have already watched it, but because we're YouTube and we don't keep track of things for a long enough period of time, you don't see the little red bar at the bottom of the video, so you have no idea if you already watched it or not. Guess you'll have to watch it again. Now, I don't know if I have stuff saved for any of the VTubers outside of the usual in here. It's like a look at the textiles bin. No, I do not. So we're gonna have to create new ones for for the 3 of these. Doesn't look like there's a moment in here that's a bit more zoomed in. But I think this is about the best we're gonna get for color scheme. The general color scheme very much seems to be all about the darker brown or green, like mixed green and brown. Green and or brown. And this lighter gold looking color. Maybe it's a green, I don't know. I am colorblind, so... Alright, let's, I think we'll aim for this as the central color. No, we'll go for this as the inner color, and then this is the outer color. I think that should work. We could try for that as the inner color. I think that does fit the overall color scheme a little bit more, so I think this might actually work better. We could try to zoom in here and grab this. I don't know if it's any different, but it is a bit different. I think that works pretty well. Let's see, what do we want? Let's grab... That is the outer. This is the inner, or central, and this is the inner. Oh, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work at all. A weird. It's a bit too. I don't know. The color combination doesn't work phenomenally. So let's try. I'm not sure what to do here. This color stands out a bit more, so let's grab that. Grab that pinkish color, and then... No, that won't work. I'm... Alright, there we go. I'm just grabbing the wrong color. That's what's happening. That works a little bit better. The pink here really doesn't stand out much, though. I think that's pretty good. We could try experimenting with yeah, they just other combinations don't look as good. I think that's kind of the best we're getting with these colors. What did we do for the original one? Hold on, I want to try something. Yeah, I kind of like the new colors better. I don't know. I can always change it if I need to, but I kind of like this combo better right now. I'm not gonna get a good thing out of that. I need to see. There's a clip in here somewhere. Here we go. Yeah, we should be able to get a much better color combo out of this. Okay. Definitely grab the silvery white out of the center. And grab the darker like purple in there, and do we want the slightly more subdued silver or the brighter silver? Like the darker, brighter. This is obviously just straight white. With darker. Yeah, that's just white. It's a little off white. So I think that works better. All right, we'll go with that. So here's another topic of conversation. So while I'm at work, I like to listen to a lot of stuff. Sometimes music, but generally audiobooks and stuff like that. There are a few channels that do it's AI based stuff for the voiceover, but well, for basically all of it, but basically roughly sometimes very roughly translated manga and manhwa put into video form, so kind of like audiobooks of that stuff, which I wish that they would have official versions of translated, because obviously I don't understand Japanese or Korean, because I think that would be amazing and I would immediately go for that, but those don't exist, so not that I know of anyway. So sometimes I listen to some of those. They can be really rough, especially, holy crap, some of them you really need to watch the visuals to go along with it, even if it's just a single screenshot that sits there while the narration goes over like several different panels and only shows one. But it has it runs into a lot of problems with translation and other AI based issues, but it's still a way for me to at least experience some of the manga and manhwa stories that I otherwise wouldn't be able to, just because I don't really have the time to, be physically reading all of these stories as much as I would like to. So that's one of the things I sometimes listen to. But the one I wanted to talk about is I will also listen to story breakdowns of video games. Most of those are still human, I think. I can't prove one way or the other. But basically just narrate the story of different video games that I likely will never play. For example, the Souls games that, holy crap, I know how bad I am at those kind of games. Not really interested. Or horror games like Resident Evil and Dead Space that I will never play because I don't like horror games. For a second there, I was worried everything wasn't working properly, so I had to double check it. It seems fine. The YouTube side of things was just giving me weird feedback, so I was confused and hoping nothing was going wrong with the stream. We seem to be fine. Alright. Anyway. Back to what I was saying. I kind of noticed something that I didn't particularly enjoy when going over a bunch of games. I noticed that a lot of the really popular games, Nier Automata, Dead Space, pretty much all of the FromSoft games, and there are more examples, but these are some of the more blatant ones. Are kind of disappointing. I wouldn't say the stories are bad. I certainly wouldn't say that, because some of them, especially like the Souls games like Dark Souls and Elden Ring, have incredibly crafted stories, impeccably crafted worlds. But their stories, namely the endings, are, well, they leave much to be desired, because nothing is resolved. It's two problems: either nothing is resolved, or nothing was worth your time. It was all for nothing. To me, it kind of feels like we hit a point after like Halo Reach where it was kind of like the surprise, like, surprise, it was all for nothing, you're all gonna die. But it worked, and it's a phenomenal game. I feel like a lot of game studios looked at that and went, okay, what if we did the same thing? Because I've been noticing there's a lot of video games lately, namely the really popular ones, that are like crazy depressing or just have horrific endings. And it's so bad that I had to stop listening to the videos, the story narrations, because, like, holy crap, I was sick of depressing game after depressing game. It was nuts. One of the prime examples, and the game that I did not like a single ending for was Elden Ring. I don't think I should have to say anything about spoilers at this point, but I'm not going to go into detail, so the spoiler topic wouldn't even be an issue anyway. But basically there's 6 endings. 3 I was tolerant of, and 3 I absolutely hated. And one of the big problems is that for most of the endings, it was basically like, okay, congratulations, you made it through this incredibly difficult game, you worked really hard, you persevered, congrats, this is an amazing bit of progress you've made, you should feel proud of yourself, you got nothing done. Congratulations, you have ended the game back at square one, but with a lot of people dead. I hope you're proud of yourself. And that's the game. It's like most of the endings that's how it ends. And I found that to be incredibly disappointing. I'm not saying that a game has to have a happy ending, but I want to feel like something was accomplished. It's almost as bad as games like Prey. I'm trying to think of other examples off the top of my head, but basically games where it's like, surprise, none of it was real. Screw you. A lot of games do that too. I'm just looking at it like, how are any of these games ever popular? Their stories are trash. I mean, obviously it's the gameplay. It's the obvious answer. But still. I think Nier Automata was one of the worst, because it covered so many things. It's like, oh, I hate this. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I hate this. It was like, what the crap? Because I have played Nier Automata and I enjoyed the game, but man alive, do I hate the story. For starters, the entire story of Nier Automata is a big, like, existential, philosophical slog. What is the meaning of life? What does it mean to be human? Blah, blah, what is human nature? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's so annoying and very preachy. I've never been a big fan of that kind of existential, philosophical nonsense. I just don't like it. Whether it's modern or ancient, I don't care for it. I think it's all stupid. Okay, not all. I should not go down the route of the Sith and deal in absolutes, but I don't know. I found it a little sad that so many games are just like, yeah. I feel like Dead Space would have been one of the better ones, even though it ends with the whole, yeah, congratulations, everything you did is totally pointless because you have no way of actually winning. But it's fine. It works enough if it weren't for the fact that it's EA, so of course the games went through horrific corporate nightmare messes that just messed everything up. So different developers, different teams, nobody really knew what they were doing. Or at least for Dead Space 3. It was just kind of I don't know, just meh. It does kind of make me miss the days of like 64 era Nintendo, where they had a bit of world building and a bit of plot and lore and whatnot, but they didn't focus on it too much because the main thing was merging the bits of lore with gameplay. Like Legend of Zelda is a phenomenal example because Nintendo does not delve into the deep lore with Legend of Zelda. There's a lot of the really in-depth lore and whatnot is all speculation and theory. Or implication that you're just like, kind of like the knight that you learn from in Twilight Princess. It's kind of implied that he's a version of Link, or at least it can be inferred that maybe he's a version of Link, but I messed this one up. I still think I got the name at least, so whatever. Anyway, they give like some potential inference to different things, but they never state directly, either in the game or in interviews or anywhere else. They never go like, yeah, the knight that you trained under in Twilight Princess was a past Link. Like, I think the theory is that it was Link from Ocarina of Time, or it was like one of the potential links from Ocarina of Time, like one of the endings. I'm trying to remember which one. I can't remember the details, but it was like one of the ways that Ocarina of Time could have ended. One of the timelines, Link ends up as a knight in Hyrule, and then Hyrule is destroyed, or something, and either Hyrule's destroyed or his life ended in some way where he just felt like he did not reach his potential, so he comes back as the ghostly knight to train one of the next reincarnations of Link to make up for it. But it's not like it's some official bit of lore about Twilight Princess. It's mostly just a fan theory. And it's the kind of thing that I miss, because while I do appreciate like Dark Souls going into incredible detail with a lot of things, especially since you have to find a lot of those things in item descriptions or NPCs and little other things that you have to stumble across. I think that's really cool, but the amount of depth to the world ends up coming with the caveat of it puts a little bit too much emphasis into the trying to craft this story. So if the story ends up not, overly phenomenal, it just kind of feels, I don't know, a little empty. Like for Dark Souls, they put so much into crafting this world, flesh out the characters like crazy, or at least the important characters. Even some of the NPCs and whatnot. You'll get a ton of lore and backstory. There's a lot of really in-depth item descriptions and a lot of interweaving connections between characters and events and items and whatnot, and it's really cool. But then it all culminates in, okay, well, either you started back at square one or everybody died. Sucks to be you. And that's just how it ends. I don't know, it just kind of feels hollow to me. Maybe that's just my personal opinion. Maybe I'm just projecting a bit too much. I don't know. I try not to worry about it that much. Still. Story writing is a big deal to me. It's something I try to do myself. I don't write as much as I should, since I still haven't published anything. But I do enjoy it. So I do tend to be a bit more passionate about well-crafted stories or things that I don't think were good. Although, speaking of Elden Ring, I may have found something that would potentially convince me to try playing the game. There's a particular mod for Elden Ring on the PC called Zelden Ring, where it literally just, you are Link in Elden Ring. It doesn't change much in terms of like game mechanic. I don't know if it changes anything in terms of game mechanics. I don't know if it adds any unique characters or plots or anything. I don't think it does. I'd have to look into it in more detail. All I know about it is that it changes one of the weapon skins to be the Master Sword. Changes one of the shield skins to be the Hylian shield. And then changes an outfit to appear similar to Link's outfit, but in a way where it looks like it doesn't really stand out too much from the usual outfits seen in Elden Ring. So it's very much crafted in a way where it blends with Elden Ring rather than just being one of those mods is like, here, play as Link, done. It like just takes the character model. I think there's another one that literally just takes the character model from Twilight Princess and puts it in the game, and that's it. But the Zelden Ring one is a lot more detailed, and I kind of like that. And then there's another mod you can use with it that changes one of the voices. I think it's a voice 1 into the sound effects of Link. So you can, using those two mods, you could literally play the entirety of Elden Ring as Link. And I think that's awesome. It doesn't give you like a overpowered weapon. It doesn't break immersion too much. Or it doesn't break immersion kind of at all. Just kind of like imagine if Link was in Elden Ring world, like it's where he lived. So it's pretty cool. I don't know if it will actually get me to play Elden Ring, especially since Elden Ring is still very pricey. Holy crap, it's still full price. It's been out for a while, it's still full price. Like, and if you want to get the DLCs, it's $100 frickin'. So, yeah. Definitely not happening anytime soon, even if... I was pretty well convinced last week, but now I'm cooling down and not that convinced anymore. So by the time the game ever goes on sale, I might no longer be interested. But, oh well, it is what it is. I think we're going to need to start keeping track of a new length record for these videos, because now with the extended clips, I don't think we can fairly say we've broken records because we've changed how the rules work. So I think our old record stopped somewhere, somewhere in the 7-minute range. I don't remember if we reached the 8-minute range on one of these before the extensions. But now we're at the point where we could easily start reaching into 9 to 10-minute lengths. Actually, maybe that'll be good for these videos, because maybe YouTube will be like, hey, this is at least 10 minutes long. Maybe I should actually show this video to people. Maybe I can actually get some views on these. As we are still very much at the hovering between 10 to 30 views per video. It's not great. It is what it is. Can't do much about it, but I do really, really appreciate the community of Tomoe Umari, because boy do they come together for those videos. Holy crap. I think most of the Tomoe clips, even the compilation videos that I've put up there, have gotten at least 500 views, which for the Clips channel is quite crazy an amount. Well above average. So I really appreciate that community that put a lot of views into it. The watch time is still around average, but hey, take what you can get, right? I think we've got a total of 2 updates for these videos this month. There's the new, we're finally utilizing the new animation for the text, and made updates to the thumbnails. Just realized I never finished my story from the beginning of the stream about nearly not getting the Pearl video up on time. I talked about the first half of it, which was how long it took me to get all of the clips together and not really having a lot of time to work on stuff the rest of the week. But the other part of it was I'm trying the new thumbnail style, see how that works. Put a little more pizzazz, I don't know, a little more something into them. So I really tried to focus. The main thing was basically I tried to find at least one main clip to focus on and either use a direct quote from said clip or another clip, or some tagline or other tagline or something, and use the top 10 clips text more as like a sticker or a little thing on the side, and a little tagline, whether it's a direct quote or otherwise, and create a stylized thumbnail based off of a primary event from one of the clips. Basically just picking one of the clips that I felt really stood out. I hope people like them because I put a lot of time into them. Maybe a bit more than I needed to, or that I should have, but let me pull this up real quick. So, got one for Girl DM, which just one of the clips, a moment from one of the clips just felt like it would make for a really great thumbnail. Then grabbed a moment from one of Pearl's clips. And then I had obviously in the thumbnail for the video, the top clip scene is over in this corner, kind of small. Yeah, I tried to stick to I tried to make the thumbnails more themed. You know? This one I'm kind of happy about. I'm kind of happy with how it turned out. I'm really hoping that people end up liking these thumbnails, because I put a bit more work into them. I hope they work out well. I haven't really delved into the A/B testing that YouTube has that you can work on, just because, I don't know, I feel like changing thumbnails randomly throws people off, you know? And I don't know if it really does much to actually help a video. I don't know. I've heard both. I've heard some people, I've heard one argument where changing the thumbnail for the A/B testing thing, you just come up with a bunch of thumbnail ideas, you find the one that works the best, and then you'll change the thumbnail to that one instead of whatever you had originally. Some people say that it's kind of like giving viewers a fresh, like making viewers think like, hey, this is a new video I haven't seen, and they click on it and they watch it. Which doesn't make much sense to me, because yeah, they click on it, but then they see it's the video that they already watched with a different thumbnail, and then they immediately leave because they don't want to watch the video again. So that argument doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Unless it's a video they really, really, really enjoyed, then they might watch it again, but I feel like most people wouldn't watch it again. Some people say that they've noticed an increase in views and whatnot with the new thumbnail using the A/B testing. Some people say that they haven't noticed any difference, and some people say that they have noticed the opposite, that they've had a decrease from their average on views and whatnot because of the changing thumbnails. So I've heard every opinion. It just seems there's not really, from what I can tell, there's not really a set opinion, a set decision, or like belief on how it works. There's not really a single viewpoint that is seen as the majority. I don't know. So I just don't mess with it, because I don't know if it's even worth messing with. Plus, I don't have the time nor the desire to spend several days coming up with multiple thumbnail ideas for all 12 of these videos to just throw them into YouTube's algorithm thing for the A/B testing and go, okay, which one do you think is best, AI? Not, you know. So, I don't know. And that's one of the things that I've changed, is the thumbnail styles, and I hope people enjoy the new thumbnails. I really do. I tried to make them fun. I tried to make them not too complex. So, admittedly, I did spend a bit too much time editing some of them. This one was one of them. I spent way too much time warping this nonsense. It was supposed to match the this. It's supposed to kind of be themed off of the Brave Little Toaster, because of the tagline I came up with here. Yeah, I don't know if it worked out all that well. Could be worse, but whatever. This one is one of the simpler ones. I did pull a few things out and messed with some stuff, but it was mostly simplistic enough that it wasn't too crazy. This one's funny. This one has the most in it. Has the different things here. It has a bunch of different little bits and pieces. So it has the most in it. But this one took this was one of the longest. This one took a while to get done because of this right here. All of this is masked. So you have the text, and then where'd it go? Oh, here it is. The rectangle. See, because this font does not have a background. This font is open. You have regular, Venom, and Web. So I made a background. So I had to go in and I created this red rectangle, placed it over the top, and then selected the stuff out here around it, deleted it, masked it, and then I had to go in detail, mask around the edges here to get rid of the red on the outside and inside of here, these spaces here, and then reapply it inside to fix it up and make it look good. So that took a while. I think there were 2 thumbnails total where I did that. I'm trying to think which one was the other one. No, wait. It might have been this one. It was not. It was not. I don't even know what this layer does. Just delete that. No. 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 Was it this one? No way. No, it was not this one. Which one was it? It definitely was not this one. This one did take a little work to do as well, because I needed to recreate the squares and get the letters in the right size and placement. A little tricky because these 2 letters did not fit at the same size as these 2. So these 2 are at 18 points, and these 2 are at 13 point font sizes, because the D and M are a bit longer than an I and R. So, you know. There's not a periodic element for the letters D, for the letter D, the letter M, or both. So I just made up one. I really thought there was another one that utilized the mask thing, but I guess not. Huh. I guess I'm misremembering. Which is weird, because I did this just yesterday. So I guess that says a lot about how broken my brain is. Definitely was not that one. No, wait, no, it was this one. I just merged the layers. Because I just realized this is not a text. Hold on. I can't grab. Did I lock my model? I did. No, that's the wrong. Where the crap are you? can't find... Oh, here it is. Okay, so you can see this layer here is not a text file, a text layer. So if I were to create a random layer here, you see it's a text layer as a giant T. But this is not a text layer, which means it's been rasterized. If I go in here and rasterize type, poof, the giant T goes away. I'm really dumbing this down, but I don't know how many people use Photoshop who will end up seeing this, so I'm trying to explain it's detailed as possible. Whoops. So this is the other one where I did it. I just merged the layers. I did not merge the layers with the Muna one because it was the last one I was doing and I was kind of rushing at that point. I was trying to get it done so I could go to work. I needed to upload the tweet. I needed to post the tweet and go to work. Yeah, this is the other one where I did it. I needed to create a separate background for the lettering because the lettering is open. I think the font I used is the Schools Out one. Yeah, it's the Schools Out one. So it's this one's solid and it's got the open. So obviously it's using the open one. So I had to create a background for it. Yeah, I put a lot of time and work into the new thumbnail, so I'm really hoping that people end up liking them. Oh man. Oh, my elbow just popped. Yeah, that and this new animation are the two updates we've made to these videos now. And I'm thinking next time I'm gonna work on the brain's not braining. Oh hey Blukey. We are working on the first batch of clip compilations from April. I say working on, I pretty much finished them. Or at least what I usually work on stream, so we might... Oh, we're, what, an hour and 47 minutes into stream? Don't know what I want to do. Because I haven't finished... I don't know if I finished going through all of the other ones yet for time. For example, the Toma one has several extended clips, and I don't remember if I finished going through all of them and finalizing the timing on them, so I don't know if I can work on all of these. I don't remember. My brain is so busted. I don't even remember what I did yesterday. Oh man. But I'm trying to think if there's one that I know of that did not have any extended. I don't think there is. Not the Pippa one might. we that, and I don't want to take too much out of well, I guess I could come up with something to work on next time if we do delve into the next batch now. I have been trying to come up with some ideas of more stuff I can do on the Clips channel. I did think about another idea for working with these text boxes, having a wider rectangle, so something kind of like this. It would fit across the whole height of the video, and then it would contain some of the video information. This way I would be able to fit longer titles in it. Maybe it would probably look weird, might not work out too well, but I'd have to experiment with it to see how it would work. I've also been thinking about doing the After Effects animations. So supposedly one of the connections between After Effects and Premiere is being able to take, you go into After Effects and you work and you create a little animation with your text. So say you've got like you have this block of text in the center, like in the center of the screen, and you've got, say, you got multiple words. Say this is a better example. Say you got multiple words, and then you have like a little animation at the bottom where it'll be like a little ball bouncing, kind of like, say if it's a karaoke song, so you got the little bouncing ball that goes across the words or something like that. You could create that in After Effects and then export that effect into Premiere, and then supposedly what you're able to do is go to that effect inside of Premiere. It'll be in one of these little boxes windows here, and you can go to kind of something similar to this. You can go into the properties of it, click on the text here, and then be able to change the text without needing to change much of the animation. Now, obviously, you would have to change the animation for the example I gave of the bouncing ball on the words, because you have to change it for the specific words. But if it's more of a generic animation, like a loading bar, oh, that's a good one. So you have a loading bar under it, so it could be like for each segment of a video you have a little thing that says like chapter 1, chapter 2. and then underneath it you have a little loading bar. And during the course of the chapter introduction thing, the loading bar extends to a certain point, like it hits, say, here, and then the next chapter starts, right? So what you'd be able to do is create that effect in After Effects, bring it into Premiere, and change chapter 1 to chapter 2 or chapter 10 or whatever, and the loading thing would remain, and all sorts of stuff like that, even stuff that directly affects the text without needing to change any of the animation. I'm not entirely sure how it all works because I haven't done it myself, so that's something I thought about experimenting with. I'm not really sure, just because, well, as our previous experiments proved, things don't always work out as well as, what? That's not what I wanted. The crap? Why did it open File Explorer? Oh, so dumb. Like, this whole thing that we did proved to be great in theory, terrible in practice. It did not work at all. It was horrible. I couldn't get it to work whatsoever. Largely because I made the really stupid decision of creating it like this with the text centered, which was dumb. I tried to fix that later, but the clip title was almost never short enough to fit in this tiny little box. So it would always extend way too far, and it was this whole mess. And every box was gonna need to be a different size, and blah blah blah. There were other issues as well. There's just problems, a lot of problems. So that's kind of why I'm a bit hesitant with dropping in a new idea. I need to put it into practice. I need to experiment with it more carefully than last time, so that I don't waste a lot of time on an idea that doesn't do anything. An idea that I can't even use. But it is fun to try to come up with some new ideas, some new stuff to do and experiment with, to always kind of update these videos every now and then. So I think the stuff I'm going to update next is the sensor sounds I talked about earlier. I want to try to find some new ones, so I'm not using the same ones I've been using forever. We've got the quack. We've got the squeaky toy, a rubber duck. We've got the dolphin from SpongeBob. And we have just the regular sensor bleep that lasts 10 seconds. Those are the 4 that I have right now. Each are a different length. They cover some general areas, but I want to try to branch out a bit more, get some new sounds, maybe some fun ones, maybe some that match a specific VTuber or a specific, maybe they're playing a certain game. Like, for instance, I could use the Yippee thing from that's used in Lethal Company if people are doing a Lethal Company collab and it makes a clip. And also grab some stuff that fits different time lengths, so I don't have to jump straight from the option of dolphin to the regular bleep. Maybe find something in between. Something that lasts 5 seconds or something, I don't know. And then I also want to try experimenting with updating the titles of the videos. Because I've seen some people, I don't know how popular a practice it's becoming on YouTube, but I've seen a few people are starting to do this thing where they'll have the title and then one of these and have explanatory title. So I'll have like 2 titles on a video, and what the explanatory title will do is either give the name of person, so name of the VTuber, name of reaction channels, it's the name of the person who made the video that they're reacting to. For clips channels, it's the name of the person who's being clipped. I've been seeing that go around lately. So I'm thinking what I could do is create like a more fun title, and then put a little thing, and then best clips, blah blah blah, that I usually have. So I'm thinking of updating that as well. I thought about it for this time around, but ran out of time, so we'll just work on that next time. I don't know. I don't know. I'm also thinking of changing how I do my introductory thumbnails or images for the tweets. I'm thinking of changing how that is. So instead of trying to have the thumbnails done ahead of time, like I've been doing, so I've been having where is it? Here it is. Like this, instead of, because then it makes me have to finish 12 thumbnails, sometimes in a single day, just to make these 4 images to post on Twitter. That's a headache. Like yesterday, it was making all 12 of the thumbnails just to make these 4 anyway, to make those 4 things to be able to upload, to post that. So I'm thinking of changing that a little bit to make it a little easier on myself, so I can really focus and take time to get things done in a way that I really like. Just because of the amount of time crunch there is, just because of the nature of these kind of videos. The last day of the month, I have to spend grabbing the clips, and what if the next day, so say, like for this month, the last day was the 30th. Thankfully, the 30th happened to be on Thursday. But what if it was on a Monday? What if yesterday was the 30th? I would have to spend all day yesterday grabbing all the clips, 10 clips for 12 videos, 120 clips, extending some of them. So the 5 hours it took me to get it done on Thursday, put that into yesterday, tack on getting thumbnails done. That's another maybe 5 hours. Maybe not. I don't know. It depends on the complexity of the thumbnails. 2 to 5 hours. So let's just say 3. So we're up to 8 hours. And And the 5 hours is because it literally took me 5 hours to get all of the videos last time. Now that could get lower. Could go longer. It just depends on the clips. And since it's a Monday, I don't do work, that kind of stuff on Sundays. So I guess I would probably try to do the spinner wheel on Saturday so I don't have to do it on Monday. But if I forgot, adding the spinner wheel to pick the VTubers, that adds on another 30 to 60 minutes. So round it up to another hour. So we're up to 9 hours. And then I would have to edit one of the videos in its entirety to be ready to be uploaded on Tuesday by 11. That could... So maybe add on another hour. So we're at 10 hours. I also have to go to work. So, at best, we're looking at 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. so I can stop working and get ready to go to work, and then go to work until however long, get home at like midnight, wake up at 8 a.m. again to work on more stuff to get it all done. That's a lot to put into a single day. And I would have to have the thumbnails done, the clips and the thumbnails, the 8 hours worth. I would have to have all of that done in one day in order to create these images to put in the Twitter post. Yeah. That's just the nature of how this works, doing these monthly based videos. It's just how the cookie crumbles. So, my thought is maybe I need to come up with a better way of doing these images for the Twitter post that does not include the thumbnails, so that I'm not as stressed. You know? So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to find something that works in the way that I do the stream posts. Like this. So find a single screenshot from each of the videos and make that what I put for the tweet instead, so it's a bit easier on me, so that I can take more appropriate time to get the thumbnails done if I'm going to be doing these more in-depth thumbnails. That's what I'm thinking. A lot of blabbing. I've done a lot of blabbing today. We are at the 2-hour mark, finally. I say that like it's the death of me to reach the 2-hour mark, but anyway. This was a fun little discussion. It's fun. It's nice to kind of voice my ideas so that I can really think it through. Come up with new ideas. I'm always trying to find little things to improve on. But normally we would have hit the 2-hour mark just by working on the videos, but because of the fact that today is that, you know, I have to have one of the videos uploaded by today, which is what happened. It's just how that goes. Maybe I could change my upload schedule for the first day. I think that would be better. I'll think about it. I will think about it. Maybe upload at like 6 p.m. on Tuesday. Just to be able to. No, well, yeah, no. I'll put some thought into it, but I don't think I'll end up doing that. Anywho, I think I'm just gonna end it here this time. I don't really see anybody that raid here, so I think we'll just end it off. End it off here. A big thank you to everybody that came by, as always. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting. Hope you all had a good time. Hope you're looking forward to these videos this month. There are some really funny clips. There are some really funny ones. And, yeah. Until next stream, next week, working on the second batch. Till then, hope you'll have a good one, and hope to see you all again another time. Bye.